Welcome, folks, to episode 12 of the E-Talk with Don and Sri. We're here with Danny Silverman from Edge Essential. Danny, welcome back. I know this is, we had Danny on a couple of weeks ago, and Danny is coming back from Bentonville, the hackathon, on his way to London. We've got Sri here from New York and myself from Atlanta. So today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is AMS. Danny, could you introduce yourself to the audience for those folks that did not catch the last episode?
Sure. I'm Danny Silverman. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at Edge by Essential. Over 600 brands and retailers rely on Edge by Essential for the data, analytics, and insights they need to win in our e-commerce driven world. How cool is this that the three of us managed to meet up at the world's busiest airport in Atlanta, each of us coming and going from different places. I'm coming from our hackathon in Bentonville. Sri's coming from New York, and Don, you live here in Atlanta, so great opportunity for us to meet up and talk about AMS.
All right, Danny, so is it true that Amazon is a critical search engine for consumers today in their pursuit of products?
Yeah, absolutely, Don. There was a new study that came out recently that yet again confirmed the vast majority, over 70% of product-related searches are starting on Amazon and not on Google. And when consumers and shoppers are going to Amazon, what they're seeing first is the AMS sponsored ads. Sponsored search, Spotlight, whatever it may be, when they're doing those searches, they're encountering AMS first. So not only is Amazon the most critical channel to find CPG products today, but optimizing around AMS isn't critical as well to then meet the shopper and deliver what we're hoping to get them.
I couldn't agree more with Dom. I think AMS-led sponsored ads and things of that nature, as you described, has made Amazon kind of like the elite search engines. It's like even in my own family, when people are looking for something, it feels like the whole human race is gravitating to Amazon. They go type whatever they want and boom, it appears. Why wouldn't you go to Amazon and take advantage of the search engine? So Danny, AMS innovation launches, I almost feel these days that when a CPG company, it doesn't matter if you're a big brand, small brand, if you're launching an innovation, do you really have a choice? Do you have to be on Amazon and take advantage of AMS search to launch it?
Yeah, absolutely. As mentioned, a moment ago, vast majority of research is starting on Amazon when it comes to products. If you're launching innovation, you're launching a new product, you have to be discoverable and found on Amazon. That's where the shopper's going to go first before they get to the store. Whether they buy that innovation on Amazon or end up purchasing it in store, that's where the research is happening, and that's where you want your innovation, information, and content to be optimized and to be able to deliver it with AMS. So you're right at the top of search results and previous placement from the start.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think it's non-negotiable today for any innovation launch in the industry.
All right, Danny, so what is the role of Google? Are they irrelevant in CPG?
Definitely not. Let me give an example. I have a 15-year-old dog. She's aging. We're looking for new food and nutrition for her. I'm going to go to Google and search what's the best food for an elderly dog. I can't put that into Amazon. I'm going to do that research on Google, then I'm going to go and search for the products that come up on Amazon. Slightly different trip and purpose and mission that might actually start on Google, but it gives an example of the different types of searches, depending on what the mission is of the consumer, why she might start on Google versus Amazon. So it's still important to be optimizing for Google and making sure that when they're looking for brand relevant content and information, they're going to go to Google and you still want to be discoverable.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's very important that brands invest on Google. I think it's very important that brands know where they rank keywords on Google, category as well as specific brand keywords. I would also say that AMS, just as we mentioned before, is highly relevant, highly impactful for the success formula, just like we mentioned, because to your point, there's a hunt and gather aspect to Google, and then there's more of a seek and destroy. And if you're at my house with my kids, it's a seek and destroy on Amazon because the spending just goes through the roof.
So clearly, I hear you say AMS is elite, non-negotiable for innovation. Talked a little bit about Google. What is the future of search, Danny?
Sorry to interrupt. So I think this is just beginning. I think, Danny, I'd be interested in your take here, but I think search is really beginning with penetration rates in the US of about 10%, give or take. As that continues to grow, search will be ever critical, whether it's on AMS, whether it's Google. If your brand in CPG is not showing up above the fold on page one. You're in a dangerous spot. So I think search, I think we're really just beginning, and I think the allocation of dollars from your traditional media, to more current state media, which search is a big one, I think will continue to grow.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. The search algorithms are always getting better, right? You still might search for something and the first or second result is relevant and then the rest aren't. But the algorithms on Amazon and other retailers and Google are constantly being improved, getting better and better, and increasingly shoppers and consumers will trust search results more than even they do now, even though it's the majority of how they interact and shop on Amazon. But using the navigation is going to increasingly become less and less important, so showing up in search becomes that much more important. I also think that the role of voice with devices like Echo is going to play an increasing role in search. Today it's a little bit of a non-starter, but as that technology gets better and Amazon and the other manufacturers figure out how people interact with voice, it's going to become a more important recommendation engine that also factors into the future of search. And by the way, I would add that if you're not Amazon, you're not Google, it doesn't mean game over. The shoppers are still going to be using Walmart, Target, other retailers if that's the banner that they're loyal to, if that's where they like to shop. Walmart.com has come eons from where it was, has become much more navigable and shoppable. And it's important to understand that as you, the brand, are working with your retailers, that you're working very closely on how their algorithms work, what's important to them, and make sure that both in organic and paid search opportunities, your brand is optimizing wherever the shopper may show up to do that research.
So Danny, AMS, obviously we've talked about it now, we know Google's important. Can you tell us about what options do vendors have to take advantage of AMS? Is it one thing? Are there many strategies within AMS? What would those be?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's important to understand that some of the terminology has changed. We used to talk about AMG, Amazon Media Group, as separate from AMS, but the reality is AMG is a group, and within it is all of the AMS options. Within AMS, it branches into two: pay-per-click, PPC, or pay-per-million, PPM. And they're purchased differently. PPC is the one that most have access to. It's more of a bidding system, it's self-serve, it's an automated platform. And within that then, and as well as considering the PPM model, it's all about what your strategy is. If it's a broad awareness play, you're going to want to go with the PPM placements on the homepage, deal pages that are going to get you lots of eyeballs and awareness. If it's a new product and you're trying to go after a certain target, you want to get much more targeted with those ads with sponsored search or headline ads so that you're showing up where otherwise you're not ranking organically because the product is too new.
One other question I had for you, Danny, is this term conquesting. Obviously, those of us in the CPG industry working in the e-commerce space, we've done this for a living, including Don has done it too. Can you just tell the audience, especially executives watching this term may be new, what is conquesting? Do you see this in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, conquesting is basically the idea of Amazon leveraging the best and most powerful aspects of their technology to promote their own private label or house brands. And this is not new to the industry. Every retailer any brand has ever worked with has their own strategy for how they promote private label, whether it's through pricing and promotions, ads, whatever it may be. Every retailer has that strategy because that's where their margin play is, and that's where they want to drive loyalty to their own products. Conquesting is Amazon's unique play on that. Things like taking over an Energizer battery page with an ad that fills 2/3 of the page. Things like testing mobile ads that pop up on branded products, promoting the Amazon private label version of it.
So I'm thinking to myself as you answer the question, this is not going to be fun for CPG vendors, but I also wanted to mention, we talked SEM. SEO is equally important. So if you're a vendor and you've got product content, again with innovation, I got to imagine that you get the titles right. You make sure you're looking at search keywords for the product you create and put them in the titles, in the bullet points, below the fold as well. So SEO, I would think, is somewhat equally important.
Yeah, and sure, you know me well enough to know this is my passion point. If you haven't optimized your product detail page, don't waste any money on advertising. You're sending people to crap pages, bad ACEs, third parties got the buy box, you've wasted your dollars. Make sure that your titles are optimized, you've got the images that well represent your product, features, descriptions, A+ content, a minimum number of ratings and reviews. Basically, you want that page retail ready to receive the traffic that your ad dollars are going to drive into the page. It's absolutely important as a first step before you start spending.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Danny, outside of AMS, outside of Amazon, outside of Google, what are other things that brands and CPG should be looking at, thinking about platforms? Yeah, tell us what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mentioned a few minutes ago that if you're not Amazon, you're not Google, you still have to optimize against search. Well, the other retailers have ad plays as well, and it's important that brands diversify their investment in media and make sure that they're also putting their advertising out where shoppers also are. Criteo is a critical ad network to be aware of that gets your products into paid placements on sites like Walmart and Target. Walmart is beefing up their own Walmart media play, and so making sure that you do diversify that investment and be aware of what's important to other retailers is really critical to maximizing the exposure of your brands.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's video. It's been fascinating to have you on. We're at such a great location. Again, Danny on his way to London from Bentonville, Sri here from New York City, myself in Atlanta. I think we will see each other at the New York City Hackathon upcoming, which would be great. But I think this is just such a fascinating subject because, again, in closing, I think it's important for our audience to know approximately 10% penetration rate of e-commerce in the U.S. But if you look at categories such as dog food, pet food, such as supplements, penetration rates of 50%. Search is critical. If those brands, if you're in those categories and you didn't invest in search and you're not on page one, it's the detriment of that brand. So it's a fascinating subject. Again, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on.